So, good morning. Welcome to Unity of Chautauqua. I'm Reverend Barbara Williams, and this is an exciting beginning as we end our once a month service and we start doing every week through the summer. So, I'm so glad that you're here and hoping that you will continue to join us during the summer. So, Janine, our musician, is going to begin us with a welcome song. Janine.
Light a candle in your memory, though I don't know who you are. When I think about your family, I will wish upon a star. And I pray that they'll find peace someday. Pray they'll make it through. I'll light a candle in your memory honor you. I'll light a candle for America. May we feel her peace inside. We'll hold each other closer and wipe the tears we've cried. I pray we'll bond together. I pray that we'll pull through. Light a candle for America, for me and you. We can sing, we will light the world with our love. We will light the world with our love. For the good that's yet to come, as we overlook our differences and join now as one. I pray we'll come out stronger in this world I'm dreaming of. I'll light a candle for humanity to be a world living in love. We will light the world with our love. We will light the world with our love. I know that we can light. We will light the world with our love. Every day and every way, light. We will light the world with our love. Know that we can, know that we will light the world with our love, with our love. I'll light a candle for humanity, for the good that's yet to come, as we we overlook our differences, join now as one. I pray we'll come out stronger in this world I'm dreaming of. I'll light a candle for humanity to be a world living in love. I'll light a candle. I'll light a candle.
So let's just take a moment now and let's hold those words as we enter this time of prayer. Right now, imagine that you are holding a candle, and this candle is part of the light of our love, of your love, of our love. And you light it. And we light it, and we've lighted for those right now that are not feeling that light. For those in Uvalde, Texas. For those in Buffalo. For those in Ukraine. Those throughout the world, we hold a candle of truth to light those times of darkness, to remember that there is always light at work, always the love of God at work. And so we affirm that there are many right now around the world working towards the healing, the comforting, the support, the encouragement. So take a moment now and hold that knowing that there are all these lights. And we say, thank you, the spirit of love that moves in us and through us and as us, with every breath that connects us to all of humanity. And so we blow out our candle for a moment and just move that energy into our heart space so that it may live and work in these days, giving us opportunity after opportunity to be there for each other. And so it is, and so it will be. Amen and amen. So again, welcome to Unity. We call ourselves a positive path for spiritual living. And the words that have moved me so much as I became part of Unity a long, long time ago was that how it opened my mind, my heart, and it's transformed my life. And so it is such an honor to continue that message that so changed my very uncomfortable life into one in which I thrive and live and love. So, unity, we just say it's a positive, practical, progressive approach to Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus and the power of prayer. So, unity began in the 1800s, supporting many different paths and seeing that commonality. So, we honor those the universal teachings in all religions and respect each individual as they choose their spiritual path. So I invite you, wherever you're finding us, whether you've joined us in person on Zoom or you found us later through our YouTube or our Facebook, our website, just invite you not to share this with other people, share this love that we affirm. And our website is unitychq.org. And the exciting news is that we are beginning a new program starting the last Sunday of June. For 10 Sundays, we're actually physically in person at Unity Institution in Chautauqua, I'm sorry, not Unity Institution, Chautauqua Institution, I have that back, in Chautauqua, New York. And also, we will be recording our services, and we bring Unity ministers from all over to share with us their wisdom. So we'll have 10 Sundays there. And then starting in October, we go back to the first Sunday of every month. So I invite you to go to our website, unitychq.org, to sign up for our email. And you also can find a place to donate on that website at the very bottom of that website. And if you want to know more about Unity, I invite you to go and explore unity.org, an incredible place of resources, as well as we hope you'll join us in Chautauqua. And you can find all about that at chautauqua.org. So I'm going to invite Janine again, as she is going to lead us in our Sunday program.
This is a song called Last Song by Daniel Nahmod, and it really made me think about my footprint here on the earth, even if it's not my last song, but maybe keeping in mind, what if this is the last song that I sing, and how do I want to leave? How do I want to bring kindness into the world? If this is my last song, if this is my final day, if tomorrow I'll be gone, what do I want to say? If this is my last song, if it's my time to go, when my body's moved on, what'll I have to show? No, not fortune and fame, they scatter to the wind. The things that make a name just don't matter in the end. But is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and sky a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. If these are my last words for all the earth to hear. If all that I have ever been is about to disappear, if these are my last words, there's nothing that I need to say. I have only tried to serve. It's never been about talking anyway. So much hurt there is to heal. It's hard to understand. All I can hope to feel is that I am doing what I can. Is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and sky a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. Have I given hope to the hopeless? Has a hungry soul been fed? Has a child stood a little bit taller 'cause of something that I said? Have I left a little kindness? Have I eased a little pain? If so, then I'm glad I came. For that, I'm so glad I came. If this is my last song, what do I leave behind? What do I pass on if I am out of time?
Thank you, Janine. We have been on a journey since this past October, and we began with this book, The 5 Principles, and it's a guide to universal principles, ones that are a foundation of unity. But I think you'll find, if you've been on this journey with us, and you can go back and look at that on YouTube, going back to October, I have probably shared this book more than any other book. Every member, when I was doing church in an ongoing setting, meaning all the time and full time, it was the book that we came back, taught twice a year. And I am so grateful because I tend to forget about these truths. I can get caught in what's happening so much in the world that I forget that there's a bigger energy going on, that there's a healing. And so to have to speak with you about these principles, it's had me own them at a deeper level. So I just want to say thank you for coming along with this ride. And this is, again, our last Sunday till we are in person. And then we have 10 Sundays in a row and you'll have a treat with all these different wonderful ministers. So we are on the 5th principle. And I'd like to read that to you. And this says, knowing and understanding the laws of life, which are the first 4 principles we have spoke about over these months, also called truth, are not enough. A person must also live the truth that he or she knows. So Jesus said it this way in Matthew, the 25th chapter. I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and You welcomed me. I was naked and you gave me clothing. I was sick and you took care of me. I was in prison and you visited me. Just as you did it to one of the least of these, who are members of my family, you did it to me. So I was sitting in that and thinking of all the things we could probably add to that. Not only food, but comfort right now in the world. That our world is, to me, calling at a very intense call to love right now. And just, I want to own that it's been hard for me to not put aside some of the things that are showing up. And sometimes I find myself angry. And so the first 4 principles that are based on shifting consciousness, and I'm going to repeat those in a minute about what those are asking us to do. Now, the 5th principle is saying, can you live it? And I just want to share this morning that sometimes I struggle with that shift. I think there are times when I live it and I feel so heart-centered. And there are other times, especially with some of the things that have happened this year, that I feel like I've lost that consciousness. And I understand that that consciousness is the way that I show up. That is healing. Because if I show up out of my fear, my sadness, my anger, then I undo some of the love that the world is calling for. And so I just want to own how easy it is for me to do it. About a week ago or so, I was walking my dog, and some of you know her, big dog, Sandra D, just this happy girl that we're walking, and past us comes in our neighborhood a truck, and on the back is a giant flag that says the F word and then our president name, and it goes by me. And did I for a moment think, well, that's a child of God? I did not. I won't repeat what I said inside of my head, but I'll own it. I I was like shocked. I thought, where did that come from? Where did this thought that, and you know what's interesting is I was vibrating at the level of this person that put the flag up. I had just taken all the work, and I do a lot of work on this, holding a space for love, regardless of where another person's coming from. And in that instant, just like that, I lost it. Now, I do want to own the fact also that this is natural for us. We have this brain part of us that kind of feels when there's a threat, and it does react to that. And it takes a lot of practice. And I'm telling you, most of my practice is not in the moment that those things happen. I have to go home and I have to sit in prayer. I have to own that I'm in fear. And under that fear, what is it? I notice that how sad I am, how concerned I am. And there are actually there's a value to my feelings. I don't want to brush them away or say, oh, I shouldn't have those. That it's quite natural. And not only is it natural, but the person flying that flag probably had the same feelings as I do. Fear about what I believe is the best for our country. And so when we see that fear, I don't want to be part of accelerating it, of multiplying it. So it's continually a call for me to do my work. And I don't know about you, but I am having more opportunities, and mostly in my neighborhood of all things, which surprises me because I walk my dog, and many of you know I'm pretty gregarious. So I stop every person that has a dog, we talk, we do something, and sometimes topics come up, and they're probably things I disagree with really strong. And so I've had so many opportunities to do this introspection, to find my place of love. And one of the things that have helped me is Walt Whitman said this line: within each of us are multitudes. Now, what does that mean? For me, that means that the person that tells me something, like that vaccines kill people and don't work, which one neighbor told me, um, that person, that's not all of who they are. If I got to know them, I would know the places that they love in their life, the places that they do good. And so I have to go back, and my first reaction is the one I don't want to stay with. It's the one that I get to do the work and look inside where I have healing. And pretty much I've been able to do it. Sometimes it takes me a little longer. Another neighbor on January 6th, and I was feeling the sadness. The flags in our neighborhood were at half mast. And I was thinking about and praying for some of the families, especially for the officers. I think it was like 114 officers that were injured and the people that lost their lives, and what it told about where democracy, the struggles. So I was thinking that, and one of the groups I visit with a bunch of dogs, we get together in the corner, one of the people said, I can't believe those are half mast. Nobody was hurt. It's all a scheme, blah, blah, blah. Felt it again, the same thing I felt with the flag. There went my feeling. And this time I did a little better. I didn't say the words that I said about the flag guy going by, but I did say, I need you to just not with me share that. And I went home and I worked, because I see this guy all the time. And I worked on opening my heart so that the next time, and he was like, oh, okay. You know, when I kind of went, nope, please don't go there with me. I was so emotional at the time that I needed time. And now when I see him, my heart, I really worked at it. And what a wonderful feeling it is when I get there, and then I meet the same people that I've had that, oh, please, I can't believe they believe that. And I think that harms all the messages that we have, right? Now, how much is my confrontation? Not that if they were truly curious about what I said, that I could maybe share and love a different view, but they're not curious. And my job is just to hold a place of connection and of love, because I don't want to add more to the vibration. I understand that it's just not our words, but it's our feelings underneath. And I want to shift those feelings to the place where I can feel unconditional love. So I was listening to a podcast, and some of you know that when I walk my dog, I'm also listening to podcasts. And this one touched my heart. It was like maybe a day ago. And it was from the ACLU. And it was about the ACLU had brought a man, and I want to say his name because it's so unusual. Alok, A-L-O-K. He's from India. And Valid Menon. Very unusual name. I used he, but that's incorrect, because this young man that they were interviewing is non-binary, and he calls it he is gender fluid. So they were talking about the 280 some laws that are going in opposition to trans people. And that touched me deeply, for one, that because there were members of my church that were trans. In fact, some people were on our staff were transgendered. And one of them was a great teacher for me, because I didn't know much about it as a new minister in the early 2000s. And he brought me a book to help me understand. So this young man was talking with such love and compassion, because, young man, I said it again, I'm working on it. It's a transition in thinking for me. They were speaking of the compassion as they were attacked for this belief. And he said something you're going to have to excuse the he's. They said something that I had never heard before. when the interviewer asked them, how did they find this compassion and the vulnerability to share who they are? And they said, I have such freedom because I am not in that narrow idea of what we say being feminine and masculine is. I am free, they said, to be a total expression of both the feminine and masculine and more within my being. And then they commented that why they were not upset about those attacking them was because they recognized the people attacking them were not free, that they had these tight definitions of how we all are to show up, and that how painful that is. And that just touched me, that their understanding could be so encompassing that they saw the pain of a person that reacted with hate and saw how they were not free. So I realized that for me, the first 4 principles, coming back to knowing the truth, will help me in these reactions that I'm having that are surprising me at times. And this is from our 5 Principles books, and this is Reverend Ellen Davenport, who is a Unity minister, who wrote this book. And this is what she says: the first 4 principles constitute a handy checklist before living the 5th principle, which is living the truth. We have to first embed it in our whole knowingness. And so the first thing she suggests, we ask ourselves to make sure we're sitting in the consciousness that shifts to love. We say, do I affirm divine intelligence and love in this situation? And she suggests we sit with that. Do I affirm that there is divine, that I have this small view of, oh my God, and not in a good way, my God, this is hurting our country, hurting our world, because I don't understand. I don't see the big understanding. I'm not sitting in the consciousness that there is this profound love, and that there are all these people that are lighting candles and are entering this place of love and service to create more of that love. So can I bring myself back to that knowing? Principle 1, one presence, one power. And even when I can't see it, it is there and it's at work. And there are those wonderful times when I actually feel it and know it and I celebrate it. But I'm also willing to be very patient and loving, knowing that my humanity and my vulnerability are part of this too. And that is part of all the other people that are feeling and struggling just like I am. Then the second one, do I remember my own divinity and that of the others involved? In Unity, we say that we all have that divine pattern, the Christ, that Jesus said, these things I do and greater things shall you do. And he kept pointing to within us, in potential, what he lived with such great love. So to remember that, for me, it's been helpful, like I said, to say within the person I'm looking at, even though I'm maybe distressed by some parts of them, that's not everything they are. Just like me, and there's a potential Christ for me to live more fully. So it is in them. And I don't want to add to the hostility so that that sinks deeper for them, but to be that love for them, to invite them. and invite myself back to that place of knowing that we're the Christ. Then the third principle that she tells us to remember before we take action is, do I take responsibility for attracting the situation into my experience and know that its outcome for me will match my thoughts and feelings about it? So do I own the upset that I get? And that actually at times I can even get good at looking for it, looking for unhappiness, looking for people that disagree, and then winding myself up and cutting myself off from source. And so again, the invitation is to remember that I don't see it all, and to decide what is the vibration that I want to attract. And I literally, as I approach somebody that maybe I've had some distress about some of the things they share, I move into my heart space and I open it over and over. And it takes practice. I wish I could say that the first time they said something, I didn't react. But then I wouldn't be owning my humanity. And that's part of it too. And our humanity is our warning system. It says there's something here to heal. And then we get to decide if we're going to add more anguish or we're going to be the place of healing. And then fourth is, have I aligned myself with God? Now, this is about prayer, our fourth principle, the universe, the good, and received guidance before I act. So how do you know if you've received guidance? Sometimes I've tried to fake it before I make it, but the truth is that when I feel this peace, at whatever the outcome, my job is to express love. No matter if things are not going in the direction, when I know that I'm opening, and I will continue to get guidance when I don't push against things. So in the book, she has this paragraph about whether we take action versus activism. Now, I've never thought about those two particularly, what the difference means. But there's a lot of, excuse me, activism now. A lot of people call themselves activists. And I went and looked up the dictionary because I thought she describes how it can be different in consciousness, but I wondered what the Oxford Dictionary said about this. This was so interesting to me. And it says that action is doing something to achieve an aim. And the synonyms for it are steps, measures, activity, movement, effort. Activism in the dictionary, using vigorous campaigning to bring about political or social change. Okay, the synonyms: fanaticism, radicalism, zealotry, dogmatism. Now, I'm not sure if activism quite means all those things, but it can have that. And it can undo what we are trying to change. Because we actually, with certain versions of activism, we actually lower the vibration in a place where we attract things that push, and that push actually against us moving forward to what we are claiming that we are lighting that candle for that love. So here's what Eckhart Tolle says in A New Earth, and maybe many of you, it was one of the most popular classes we ever taught at church. I just loved going through this class. And he says, angry resistance will be met at some point with angry resistance. Peace begets peace. And he cautions that activism often stems from resistance or the collection of personal wounds and baggage that he refers to as the pain body. So here's a quote from the book, A New Earth. Sometimes people with such dense pain bodies become activists fighting for a cause. The cause may indeed be worthy, and they are sometimes successful at first in getting these done. However, the negative energy that flows into what they say and do, their unconscious need for enemies and conflict, tend to generate increasing opposition to their cause. Usually, they also end up creating enemies within their own organization because wherever they go, they find reasons for feeling bad. And so their pain body continues to find exactly what it is looking for. Whoa, okay. And I can identify with that. That some of my reactions come from a pain body of believing that things ought to be fair and that unfairness should be called out with attack. That's some part of me that's existed and that is not totally healed. So he goes on to say the pain body is ego on the march or self will run riot. People who live unconsciously and act from old pain have mistaken their pain bodies for who they really are. Wow. And that includes people that I encounter when their pain bodies are sent towards me, that I remember who they really are and that I remember who I am. So no one really expects us. I can get kind of grandiose and think I should change the world. But Jesus didn't overcome the Roman Empire. Mother Teresa did not get rid of poverty in India. But this is what she said. I found this quote. She said, "We feel that what we are doing is just a drop in the ocean. But the ocean would be less without that drop. The ocean would be less without the candle that you light, without the love that you share." And so Ellen, in the book, The Five Principles, warns this, and I just love this statement. Don't mistake resistance for supporting something. Don't mistake that. Resistance. It's not that we shouldn't care. And it's not that we shouldn't do something. Let's make sure we're doing it for something rather than against something. Because that's our next step in spirit as we live the first four principles of knowing God is, I am part of that I create in my consciousness. I attract, I vibrate, and then I hold that in prayer. My next will be that I will get the opportunity to light candles in the darkness. So here's what Charles Fillmore, our co-founder of Unity, said about it. The value of all service lies in the spirit in which you serve, and not in the importance of the magnitude of that service. Even the lowliest task or deed is made holy, joyous, and prosperous when it is filled with love. So as we move into our time of meditation, the invitation is to allow that every act in our lives, that we move more and more into the sacredness of love. And so, Janine, would you move us into meditation?
Come to earth. Do you remember why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve, and remember? To love, serve, and remember love. Why have you come to earth? Do you remember why have you taken birth? Why have you come? Join in. To love, serve, and remember. 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 To love, serve, and remember love.
So, the invitation is to allow ourselves to be supported and just noticing that if our bodies have taken on some of the distress, and so we do an inventory from the top of our heads to the soles of our feet. Just affirming, I let go and I open to remembering. I let go of the resistance I have to what is. And know that it all belongs. It is here for our joy and our healing, all of it, calling us back, calling us home to our hearts. to love, especially in those places that are sometimes so absent of love. To serve with each of our unique gifts, none two the same. To serve in a vibration that's lifting us. And that moves out from us to touch another. And to continue to remember that God is. That there is a continued healing going on. And that I am a part of that, not separate. That I live from the I am. And I open my eyes and my heart to seeing that I am, that potential of love and compassion beyond sometimes what I show the world, what others show me. It is always being called forth. And so I invite myself to be part of that calling forth over and over. And I own the power of my co-creating with others. A love that transcends. That heals. That embraces our humanity and our divinity. And so, in this time of prayer and meditation, I honor that we are all doing the best we can. And I thank God, the presence within you, within me, within all, for this opportunity to light that candle, to see the heart's truth. In the silence, in the silence. And so Jesus said, where two or more are gathered, there I am. And so the power of us coming together and affirming that all through our world, in every moment, the expansion of love is overcoming the distress of separation. That we have added this morning, this moment, to that healing light of our world. And so it is. Amen and amen.
Serve and remember to love. Serve and remember to love. Serve and remember love.
Thank you, Janine. So now it is time for our offering. And I invite you to consider what we've offered already to the world this morning. That not only have we offered our gifts, but we've offered our heart. And so if you would join me in putting your hands to offering your gift of love to yourself, to our community, to our country, to our world, by saying together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. Just feel that. Take that offering of love, your hands, and move it to your heart. And so it is. So would you sing together?
I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
And so right now I'm holding our world. You can see that? It's all squishy. And this world has been in churches and in different places and has been loved on by so many. And so I invite you to imagine your hands are right now circling the earth as we say the unity prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, God. And thank you, each of you, for being the light of the world. And I'll see you the last Sunday in June.